Hey guys, welcome back. So today, as you can see by the title, we are going to be talking about Twilight. Why, you may say? So basically, I woke up today and it's pretty cold outside. Like, I'm not even kidding, guys. Yesterday, like, the weather was starting to feel like a little weird, and I was like, starting to feel a little cold. And today is literally like 10 or 11 right now. The weather's still cold outside, and it's barely what, September. I am so happy, guys. I am so over summer. I hate summer. It's time to talk about Twilight. That's the time. Like, it's fall is always the time where I rewatch all the Twilight movies every year because, why not? Literally, fall is Twilight season. Like, I don't care what people say, it's Twilight season and I love it. Just as much as Twilight has a lot of fans, it also has a lot of people that make fun of it. And hey, I am a big fan of Twilight, but I also make fun of it. It's okay. And I am wearing a Twilight shirt today. I don't know if you can tell. Edward's in the middle. This is a Team Edward shirt because we are Team Edward here. Even though I really like Jacob, but for me personally, if I was Bella, I would have chosen Edward. Someone had to say, I'm sorry. Like, I would just prefer to be a vampire, like, be alive forever. Wait, actually, I don't think I would want to be alive. Wait, I don't think vampires can take their lives, right? Because I think Edward tried to take his life in the movies or something. He talked about, like, trying to take his life, but he couldn't. We're literally gonna rate the movies from which one I like the most and which one I like the least. And guys, when I tell you, I am also the type of person like in the books. You know how there's that always type of person that's like, oh, but in the comics. That's me. I am that person, and I will always be that person. So, but today we're not even gonna mention the books. We're just gonna mention the movies, okay? First movie, New Moon. Guys might be asking yourself, why New Moon? I feel like New Moon is like you literally get everything in it, and like literally, I don't know what, something about New Moon, like the way they filmed it, the scenes we got, everything was like kind of relatable. It's a movie that you can watch and you can kind of relate to the characters, like the way that Bella was looking at the window when Edward had left her and the months were moving by fast, and the because I mean, she was depressed. I don't know, guys, if you ever had depression. I have. And sometimes it just feels like time is moving by so fast. Like you don't even acknowledge it or notice it. So like in a movie when the time was moving fast, it's just so like they low-key ate with that scene. Like I really like it, and then the song in the background, there's a possibility. Like I don't know, guys, but I really like that scene from that movie from New Moon, and I really like the scene where she jumps from the cliff, so like Edward can save her. But I think Loki didn't she like try to like kill herself, like, and then she was like, she got a little action there with Jacob, which I really liked. I'm not gonna say I'm a hater, like I'm a Jacob hater, like I'm not. I become like a Jacob hater kind of like at the end of the movies because I'm like, this plot with him and Renesmee was not needed. But anyways, guys, let's talk about New Moon. So like New Moon, and like the way Edward breaks it off with her, the way she starts acting, the way Charlie tries to handle like what's going on, the way like Edward, he also tries to like because he thinks she died, and it's just like a whole bunch of stuff that happens in this movie. Like I feel like I don't know, guys, how to explain it, but I feel like New Moon, which is just something that even though I rewatch every time, I always find something that I didn't notice the first time I watched it. I don't know, it's just a really good movie. I really love the aesthetic of it, and New Moon, I feel like that movie is basically fall. Like guys, how Twilight has like the blue greenish filter. New Moon has like an orange filter, if you know what I mean, like orange reddish filter for me. But I really like that movie. I really love the way they filmed it. Like I wouldn't really change anything of it. And I know a lot of people make fun of Bella for the way she acted, like the nights that she was screaming, but she was actually having nightmares. And I don't know, guys, if you have watched, there's like clips out there of the nightmares that she was having of Edward, and they're creepy. They are creepy. So if I don't know, like homegirl, yeah, she was screaming bloody murdered, I would have like never gone back to sleep. Like that's how bad they were. Like I watched the clips and I was like, this is, it's giving horror. You know, it's giving a little bit of horror. It's not really giving romance anymore. But anyways, New Moon, my first choice, will always be my first choice. I love it. I like really, 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 really love it. Mainly because, you know, you get a side of both worlds of Edward and Jacob. So like I honestly feel like Bella at some point she really did love Jacob. But her first love will always be Edward. So, you know, just as much as a lot of people go back to their toxic ex, like she went back and, you know, we can't really judge her. I mean, I never had an ex, so can't really say much about that. But like the something about New Moon like felt really new about like how they dealt with Bella's depression and Edward's depression was like totally different. It felt so different in a way, like the way that she was dealing and the way that he was dealing with it. And the way that she knew by putting herself in danger, you know, maybe Edward would show up or like, you know, she would get those flashes of Edward telling her to be careful. Like Jacob was always gonna be the second option. Like he was always like, you know, going behind Bella, you know, helping her this and that. But you know, all the choices she was making was because of Edward. Next movie, Twilight. So Twilight, I can't hate this movie. I do not care, guys. Like the aesthetic of it, like Twilight feels so magical as itself. Like I feel like they really did a good job introducing us to the characters. There's a few things I do find like a little cringe and funny, but you know, I feel like that's the whole point. I feel like what romance movie does not have a little bit of cringe, you know, like. But part that really cringe is when he's like, come on, spider monkey, and starts jumping the trees. Like those parts, yes, they're a little cringe. But if I was Bella, I would have ate them. I would have ate them up. I do not care. I would have ate them up. And like, I really like this movie because we kind of see more of Edward, like where he shows her his room, and like, you know, they start playing Claire de Lune. Like I just feel like it was something like really like good that they did. I just felt like it was something like really like, I don't know, guys, that scene just always makes me giggle gaggle. Like I'm always like, hey. And the way they also introduce all the other vampires, which if you were to ask me who's my favorite vampire, have to be Emma or Alice. One of them two. I can't really choose. I feel like all of them are cool in their own way and, you know, attractive in their own way. But I don't know. I feel like Emma, he's just chill. He's cool and he's always accepted Bella since the start. And Alice is the same. Like she's just cool, you know. And she can see the future. Like of course she's gonna be my favorite, you know. Favorite scene from Twilight, the first movie, it has to be when like Bella goes out shopping and those little creepy guys come, you know, after her, and Edward comes saves her, and then they're like at the restaurant and he like shows her that he can basically read minds. It was, I don't know, I really liked the way they did it. Honestly, I don't know how Homegirl was not freaking out, but hey, I guess Edward's face card saved him like a bunch of times. This movie's basically fantasy and romance, so I mean, who does not like a bit of fantasy romance? So my first option was New Moon, second option was Twilight. The third movie that I like is Eclipse. Eclipse has to be my third one. Is, you know, after Edward comes back and him and Bella get back together. Then Victoria's hunting Bella, and well, basically she wants to kill Bella to get revenge for, because they killed her mate in the first movie. And I don't know why they changed Victoria's actor. I feel like her first actor was so much better. She felt more like a vampire. The other one that they put in the third movie, I don't know. The thing that I like about Eclipse is, you know, like the wolf and the vampires kind of like start coming together, you know, because more vampires start to come over, so you know, more wolves start to like shift. And it's also a really messy movie because Bella kisses Jacob and Edward knows they did kiss. I don't know, guys. I know you guys, if you're watching this and you haven't seen Twilight before, you have to watch it. Like, you will understand when you watch it. But honestly, like, I don't agree with her kissing Jacob. Like, I get it, you loved him once, but like, also, guys, the first time I was watching the movie, I actually thought Charlie was gonna die because, you know, like he's the police, he's in the police force, and Forks killing the humans, which is vampires, but he doesn't know. And there's like a scene where he's like in a forest with his buddy, and Victoria's there, and I was like, when I first watched it, I was like, Charlie, get away, like he's actually gonna die. He doesn't end up dying, his friend ends up dying, which I low-key cried in because I was like, I still feel upset nowadays because I was like, they didn't have to kill him, but at the same time, I feel like they did, so they could like we could see how dangerous Victoria was, and she didn't really care, you know, like she was just out for revenge. I forgot that Eclipse is the movie where she starts to like gather other like newborns, new vampires. So I think Eclipse is actually a really good movie to do with the action, and it actually shows how Victoria's actually a little bit crazy and psychotic, and how she makes like this other young guy fall in love with her, but in reality she didn't even love him because that was not her mate, and it's this whole other messy thing to do with her. It was actually a really good movie. And then at the end when the Botori come and they kill the girl, like I wish they didn't kill the girl. And I really liked Eclipse too because it kind of shows like the bond between, you know, the Cullen family. We get to see a bit of them, and then a bit more of the wolves as they, you know, try to like work together to beat the newborns and stuff like that. And then we also get to see the Botori, which my fourth movie in the list, Breaking Dawn Part 1. This movie starts off with like basically I think Bella getting married with Edward. I really like the wedding scene, and I really like Edward's speech in the movie. It was really good. Everything about the wedding was really beautiful. You know, the way Edward goes, tells Jacob, sends Jacob a letter so he can say his goodbyes to Bella basically, in a way, you know, so Bella can kind of get that closure. Breaking Down Part 1 is just, you know, she gets pregnant, this and that, la la la. Like it's not humanly possible, and then we start to get a little bit more context about, you know, the vampire world from Carlisle's side, and they're trying to like figure out what's going on. Yeah, that scene of her like, you know, breaking her back, that was a little scary, and it's still scary till this day. Like that actually looked a little too realistic, and that actually scared me a little bit. The whole story with Bella and Charlie is just like, ugh, I wish they could have done it differently, but I get why Bella had to distance herself from her dad to not hurt him. But at the same time, I feel like Charlie was such a good character, and he took it with so much grace. Like when he met Bella again, he knew that wasn't his daughter. Like instantly, the moment they hugged, he knew something had happened, and he knew that wasn't his daughter. And also the part where Jacob like shows him that he's a wolf, I was like, Charlie deserves the parent award of the year because her mom basically disappears after the wedding. She's just like gone. I really liked when we started getting, you know, the whole history behind Carl and the Botori and who the Botori was. And the last movie, it is Breaking Down Part 2. It would have been more up there, but the reason it is one of my last is because the whole thing with Jacob and Renesmee was not needed. Like, I feel like Jacob could have had this whole other lover, like another vampire lover, you know, that they met at the battle. You know, when they were like recruiting vampires, they could have met like a vampire that was actually, you know, Jacob's mate or something. But I just hate how they had. I got it. I get the reasoning behind it, but I don't get it. Like, I wish I didn't get it because, like, who in their right mind is just like, okay, since he can't have Bella, he's gonna have her daughter.
Huh? Huh?
Like, now when you think about it, literally Jacob, like, he's gonna have to tell her, I kissed your mom. Like, he's gonna have to tell Renesmee, like, he used to have romantic feelings for her. I guess they kind of did it for the plot, you know, because the wolves were trying to kill Renesmee because they didn't know what it was. And, you know, the only way to stop it was, you know, Jacob being the alpha, being a wolf, you know, that was his mate, so they couldn't really kill it. But I feel like they could have just done this whole other thing. I feel like, no. It's giving weird. It's giving we run out of ideas. Anyways, so this movie is basically about how she ends up giving birth, and Bella at the end, she ends up turning into a twilight. What?
You can't do it! I can't.
Bella ends up turning into a vampire. So you know how she's like, you know, handling becoming a vampire. She starts talking to Charlie again, and we also get, you know, the Botori finding out because one of the sisters goes to say, you know, that they have a child and is, you know, immortal or something like that. And then, you know, the Botori come into picture. I know the Botori was gonna be something huge, but you know, and then the Botori basically is gonna come, you know, to basically have a fight with them or whatever. And then, they start to recruit other vampires, and they start to find out, if she's actually, a danger to like humanity and like, vampires itself. I really like this movie, mainly the fight scene at the end. I really, really like that scene. When I first watched it, I was crying my eyes out because, I don't want to spoil it much if you guys haven't watched it. But if you know, you know. If you know, you know, I was crying a lot. The movie was actually good. It was just the whole plot with Jacob and Renesmee is the thing that got me. That I didn't really like. But I really like the fight. I really like how we meet the Volturi and the other vampires. And then we also get to see like the wolf pack, a bit of them and a bit of their story and a bit of their romance, which I do feel bad for Ed's sister, since like like the guy she loved basically like found his mate, quote unquote. Like, I don't know, I kind of a little bit forgot, but I just feel bad for it shows us the two different worlds between the vampire and the wolves. And that movie really got me thinking, like, what would have happened if Bella never chose Edward and she chose to be with Jacob? Like, it would have been like a whole different movie, whole different setting. Bella would have been like different. I feel like Bella would have actually been like a teenager, but at the same time I feel like Bella choosing Edward was like really her, because I just don't really picture Bella and Jacob getting together at the end. I just never really pictured that through the movies. Like, I instantly knew Edward was gonna be like the last choice. It's just like the movies just like it gave her more being a vampire. I feel like she would have loved that life better than being, a wolf. I don't know, but that's just me. And I really like the wolf pack. I really like the Cullen family. I don't really know. I can't really choose between them because there's like, besides Jacob, there's other like people in the wolf pack that I really like. But then there's like in the Cullen family, I really also like them. If I were to choose to be a vampire werewolf, I'll be a vampire with like, a cool superpower or something. I am always like Bella and Team Edward. But at the same time, I do get people that wanted her with Jacob. I really do, because, I feel like everything just moved so quickly. Them getting married, her getting pregnant, everything was so quick. I feel like Bella wanting to be a vampire so bad was like a lot to do with most of the movies. Like, she kept mentioning it to Edward, so it just made sense that Edward was the last choice and that she was meant to be a vampire. I always felt like Bella was meant to be a vampire, also with her powers, the shielding. She was meant to be a vampire. She was not meant to be a werewolf. Honestly, out of all the actors from Twilight, the one that I'm most keeping up with is Robert Patterson. Maybe because of his Batman role, because I am a big DC fan. Anyways, guys, that's where I'm gonna leave it. So have a great day, guys. Bye. Like, guys, they literally gave us wolves and vampires in the movie, and they gave us romance with it. Like, what more could we ask for? That's literally every girl's dream.